Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time visiting. My name is Erin, and today what I'm going to do is my March wrap-up or March reading recap. So in the month of March, I read 5 books, so an okay reading month. I'm a little bit of a reading slump, but that's okay. But without further ado, we'll just get started. So the first 2 books that I read, I don't have physical copies of because I have been trying to go to the library more, really trying to not spend as much on books, even though it's hard. My husband and I are getting ready to go on vacation, so I'm really excited about that. But the first book I read this month is P.S. I Still Love You by Haun, and I just marathoned this series. I really loved it. I had to, like, as soon as I finished To All the Boys I Loved Before, I went to the library and immediately checked out P.S. I Still Love You, and it is just so cute. I love it. Unpopular opinion, I totally like Peter Kavinsky. Sometimes Laura Jean just kind of gets on my nerves a little bit, but I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this series. It's really cute without being like nauseatingly cute. I really love the family dynamic in it. I really love how the relationship started off, and to me Laura Jean is just such a relatable character. I really like her character, so I did give it a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book that I read was Always and Forever Laura Jean, I think. I forget totally. Oh my gosh. I think it's Always and Forever Laura Jean. And I really enjoyed that one. Gave it a 5 out of 5 stars as well. Like I said, I just really enjoy the story. I really enjoy the characters. Laura and Peter are both like really developed characters, as well as most of her family members. I just really like the way the story went. I was totally hoping that it would progress a little bit more, but that's okay. I wish there was more books. I just think it's a really cute series. The writing's really good. It flows really good. The pacing's great. So I really like that series. Gave them both a 5 out of 5 stars. So the next book that I read this month is Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I read this to be part of the Bookmark Book Club, and I have not read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book yet. I had never read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which totally took BookTube by storm last year. So this was my first one that I read. I really enjoyed the story. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as everyone else did, but that's not to say that I didn't totally love it. I read this book in 2 days, which I'm a very, very slow reader, and I don't read books that quickly. I don't think I've ever read a book in 2 days before, but I just love this book. So it's turned in an interview format, and the way the interview format is told, it just makes the reading the writing flow. It just moved by so quickly. There was definitely some unexpected things in the plot. You really got to know these characters, and you really felt like these characters were real people. And she even wrote like song lyrics for like a whole album. It was just amazing. I totally had a hard time believing that this was like fiction. I really thought that this was like a real band. I had to remind myself several times that this is not a real band and this is fiction. So this is definitely a 5 out of 5 star read for me. Just because I didn't enjoy it as much as everyone else did doesn't mean that it is not like a top book for me. I really enjoyed it. I don't know really how to explain that. I guess the way I think of it is it's just not something that I thought of constantly after I finished it, but it is like, I recommend this to anybody. This is such a good story, and I loved it. I would love to listen to the audiobook because I can only imagine, and I've heard how much of an amazing experience that is, and I think it's great. I love it. So the next book that I read in the month of April, oh my god, April's this month. I am struggling. So the next book that I read in the month of March was A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid, Kemmerer. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I saw on Guru Gossip that there is like a website where you can look up pronunciation of authors' names, which I really need to do because I feel like I don't like to butcher people's names. It's not something I like to do. I think it's more respectful to be able to pronounce them correctly. I understand it's hard. My maiden name used to be butchered all the time, and it didn't really bother me, but I know it bothers a lot of people, so I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm so sorry, and I promise I'm going to look up that website. But this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I loved this book. The main character does have cerebral palsy. I don't know anyone closely to me that has cerebral palsy, or cerebral palsy, however you say it. I can't really ever pronounce that. But I did work with somebody at one point that did have it, and from what I gathered, it's a pretty true representation. I've never battled it myself or anything, so I can't speak from there, but I loved this novel. I had the biggest book hangover after reading this. It was just crazy. So it's told in the perspective of a girl, and her name is, oh my god, Harper. And it's also told in the perspective of the prince, or the beast, and his name is Ren. And I just loved both of these characters. There's another character in it that I really loved as well. The characters were so well developed. The story was so beautiful. The writing was really good. The pacing was really good. It's kind of a slow burn romance, and I'm a sucker for a slow burn romance. I hate insta love. It's not like my thing really. And I could not stop thinking about this book after it was finished. It kind of left on a little bit of a cliffhanger, I thought. And I really, really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite books that I've read all year. And I give it a 5 out of 5 stars as well. Alright, and then the last full-length book that I finished in the month of April was Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. So I listened to this on audiobook, and I've been trying to get more into audiobooks to try to go to the gym more, work out, be more active, and just listen to audiobooks while I'm being more active, so I'm not just sitting around on my butt reading all the time, which is what I tend to do 90% of my time. But I'd really like to get in better shape, and I guess you guys don't need to hear all that, but I guess you got it anyways. The narrator for this, her name was Kathleen Early, and she was absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough amazing things about this novel. It was so good, so gritty, so dark. I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes thrillers. There are some triggers for that, so I'm going to definitely say like violence, sexual assault, that kind of stuff would be triggering for anybody. But this was just a fantastic novel. It would just, I would think that it can't get any more fucked up than what it is, and then something more fucked up would happen. It's just, you literally were on your toes. I couldn't quit thinking about this. I have been telling everybody that I know can handle this type of book to read it. It is fantastic. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars as well. I guess I had a really good reading month. Like, I've read some amazing books in March, so let's knock on wood that April is the same, but we'll see if I can get that lucky. I just loved this novel. Oh, I did read another one actually. We'll talk about that. That was not a great one. But I loved this. The writing was fantastic. It was just so gritty, so dark, so realistic. You just really felt like you were a part of the story, and you felt for these characters. You just really felt emotion, and it was so good. I also listened to a short story which was followed this on the audiobook, and it was called Blonde Hair Blue Eyes, and it was also by Karin Slaughter. So this book is told in the perspective from two sisters, Clare and Lydia, and the sisters, they obviously they're sisters, and their older sister, when they were younger, went missing. And it's been like a 20-year mystery to find out what happened to her. The book opens with another tragedy that kind of is unrelated, but then you find out like things kind of tie together, and it's just so crazy. So the short story was actually told in the perspective of the missing sister before she went, like this happened on the day she went missing, and it was so good. I can't even say enough good things about it. It really kept you on your toes. The perspectives, the narratives were so well written. The characters were so well developed. The plot was well developed. Like, it was equally character driven and plot driven, which I really liked. So I definitely recommend this to anyone who likes thrillers. Let me see if I can pull out my other book in my stack of books. I have a new bookcase, but I haven't put it together yet because I suck at that kind of stuff. So the last book I read in the month of March was called Royals by Hawkins. And I believe this has actually been rebranded to be called Prince Charming now. This book was fucking terrible. I hated it. I don't know. I've never read Rachel Hawkins before. I know she wrote Rebel Belle that got really popular. I had several issues with this book. I didn't really connect with the writing style. So this book follows a girl named Daisy. Camera died. So I was in the middle of filming my March wrap-up when my camera died. And it is literally like a month later. I know, I'm terrible. I am just going to go ahead and include the one book that I did read in the month of April in this wrap-up as well. I just kind of took a little break from BookTube and reading, just a little mental health break. So sometimes I just spend so much time reading and doing BookTube that sometimes I just have to take a little break, which is totally fine. But I know that I was in the middle of talking about Royals by Rachel Hawkins when my camera died. And I know that I said I did not like this book. I think I gave it like a 2 out of 5 stars, which I think might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I had a lot of problem with the characters. I didn't really connect with them at all. They were really one-dimensional. I also really didn't like the relationship between, it follows a girl named Ellie, who is engaged to the Crown Prince of Scotland. I didn't really like their relationship either. There was just nothing to it. There was just nothing to this book. I just thought it was going to be a really cute, romantic book, and it just didn't. It totally missed the mark for me. I didn't really care for the writing style either. Another issue I had with this book is it really talked down about kind of working in retail. So I guess it doesn't follow Ellie. It follows her sister Daisy, and Ellie, the older sister, is engaged to the Crown Prince of Scotland. So Daisy does work at like a retail store, so kind of like a Walmart, and they just really, really talk down on that. Like, it's just kind of a crappy job. I work in retail, and I work actually for a grocery store, and so like I've made a living from that. So it just kind of bothered me, not only because it just kind of pissed me off, but I mean, a lot of kids that are reading this are working, in retail, and they shouldn't feel like that. So that's just kind of my own tangent, but I really did not like this book at all. And the only book I read in the month of April, because I totally suck, was City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. So this is what was supposed to originally be the wrap-up of the Mortal Instruments series. And it really did feel all nicely wrapped up. So I'm really interested to see how the other 3 books in this series are going to form, but this was just so great. I didn't like it as much as the previous 2. I think the first one is definitely my favorite, City of Bones, but I definitely did give this a 4 out of 4 stars. I am loving this series. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. Don't forget to like it if you like this video. Definitely even subscribe as well. That would really help me out a lot and mean a lot to me. Down in the comments below, let me know some of the books you read in these last 2 months, or any other questions or comments you have. So I will see you guys soon in another video.